Everyone, how are you doing today? Can you believe it's November 1st? I hope you all had a wonderful Halloween. If you have kids, I hope you celebrated. I hope you had just made some memories, took some pictures, because that's really what life is all about. It's about memories, not stuff. That's hopefully something we've all learned over the last 18 or 20 months or whatever it's been. But a couple of quick things before we get started. Normally I do announcements first, but I want to give a special shout out to Elon Musk. If you've been watching my channel for any length of time, you know I could never really been a fan, never, just not my guy. Although what he did yesterday, he might be my guy now. If you haven't heard, the United Nations or the UN came out and said, "Hey, all you billionaires around the world, if you all cobbled together $6 billion in cash, we could essentially save 42 million people." The articles that I read, UN claimed that food insecurity was very likely to, I don't know what else to say, cause the death of 42 million people in very short order. Scary headline, certainly meant to, I don't know, call out the rich, call out the billionaires, call out the the tippity top 1%. So what does Elon Musk do? I love this. I simply love this. Elon Musk says, prove the math. Not only prove the math, but prove the math publicly so everyone could see. And if the math ties out, I got you. Yes, folks, Elon Musk said, if you can prove the math and not make this hyperbole and all of this nonsense and prove it publicly, he will sell Tesla stock. He will give them $6 billion and we're good. Can you imagine being the people at the UN going, oh my God, 6 billion? Really? But now they got to prove it publicly. I love that wrinkle. I love that wrinkle. So we'll see what happens. Again, but I got to tell you, I like that move. I really like that move. Going, hey, you want to call me out? I'm going to call you out. And if your numbers work, I got you. Respect. That is awesome. This is going to be fun to watch. I'm sure the folks at the UN or United Nations are anxiously working on the math because I'm sure before it was kind of some hocus pocus, lots of assumptions. We'll see. I'm not sure what to hope. I hope the math works, and I hope Elon cuts a $6 billion check and we save 42 million folks. I mean, what else could you hope for, right? But now we're going to find out if the UN's just a bunch of smoke and mirrors and just making up nonsense. But that was a tremendous move by Elon. Good job. So a couple quick announcements. Yesterday, my team put out an Instagram reel. I really have no idea what Instagram reels are, but they basically took my Grant Cardone, hey, wish I could interview you, but your team said no, we're too small. I want to ask you 3 questions. Tell me how you learned your market. Tell me about your cheat code to wealth, right? You sold a house, moved into something else. And then tell me about overnight success. My team cut that up and posted it on Instagram. And they are asking for folks to tag Grant Cardone. So hopefully, if enough people go to that reel, tag Grant Cardone. I think there's already 10 or 12 people have done it. Maybe it'll actually show up in his feed and it'll give us a shot. I don't know. I thought it was a creative move. So again, if you have Instagram, go to my page, one rental at a time, find the reel and tag Grant Cardone. I suspect it's going to take 100 people. I also tagged Sabrina Cardone and Elena Cardone as well. Anything we could do to surround them. I even looked for Captain Ryan, but I couldn't find him. But I don't know. In the end, if you can help me do that, it would be great. And then yesterday I started telling people that my course, How to Get Started One Rental at a Time, will be going up January 1st. I don't want anybody to miss it. It's going to go up from the whopping $299 to something higher. We have a lot of big things planned between now and the end of the year. So if you want to get it and get all those goodies for free, buy it, get a part of the group, start doing the work, and have some fun. So again, let's shout out Elon Musk for telling the UN to prove the math. I thought that was awesome. It's all math. You hear a lot of my experts talk about it's just math. So again, let's see if the UN can do that. Don't know if you heard this over the weekend, but it looks like American Airlines had their Southwest moment. Looks like this time American Airlines had to cancel 14.3% of their Sunday traffic. Yeah, that's going to be expensive. They, of course, were just like Southwest and blamed weather. It's interesting that it only impacted one airlines and not others. Same with Southwest. Southwest, if I remember right, the weekend cost $74 million. So American probably same type of things. All of this goes back to staffing shortages, and how all of this will work out is companies will raise wages. Starbucks, for example, came out and just raised minimum wage or first time wage again. This is going to ripple through the economy for the next years to come. Wage inflation is not an event. It is a movement, a trend, and once started, won't stop. On that end, where do I have it? Deere. I don't know if you heard this. We talked about it, I think, once the week before. Their employees were on strike. Their union went on strike. They now have a temporary agreement, and shocking, they are getting more money and more bonuses. If you were ever part of the union, you have more strength now than you have had in my adult lifetime. If you can have just a small sliver of your employees not show up and it disrupts everything, the employees have the power and they will extract higher wages, rightly so. The CEOs or the executives have seen, and the shareholders for that matter, have seen lion's share of the goodies. The employees are about to get theirs. The Chinese economy continues to implode. Now there are signs of stagflation. Yes, folks, stagflation is already showing up in China. I think it is going to be a very significant recession. They have crushed the psyche of individuals. But yes, China is showing factory orders down. Their factories are below 50. There's a scale of 0 to, I think it's 1 to 100. Anything below 50 is contraction. They are now contracting, which is weird. China, the manufacturer to the world, is contracting. Hello? Let's see. And, oh, by the way, inflation is raging, input costs. So again, that is the definition really of stagflation. The economy is contracting while inflation grows up, a la stagflation. Now Goldman Sachs is clearly somebody at Goldman Sachs is watching one rental at a time. Of course, I say that in jest. But now Goldman has finally come to agree with what I have been talking about for a year. We will have our first interest rate rise by the Fed in July. I've always said the summer. But yes, now they are also calling for a second one in November, which I think is a good call as well. On the acquisition side, I don't know if you saw this, but Coca-Cola dropping $5.6 billion to buy the remaining shares of Body Armor that they don't already own. They are essentially using their cash stock. This is something you are going to see companies do as we exit this era. As they have these big cash balances, and they are going to buy growth. They are going to buy growth. Some interesting company news. Harley Davidson. Harley Davidson got a big bump this morning because there are some steel and aluminum tariffs that have been resolved between the U.S. and the EU, which really will benefit Harley Davidson. They could have potentially been taxed 56%. That makes a bike pretty expensive. Trivago coming through with something that we all should have been able to expect. Remember last Thursday, maybe it was Tuesday, when we talked about the consumer? The consumer is spending money, specifically vacations we called out. So lo and behold, Trivago, better than expected results, improving travel trends. Folks, this stuff ties together sometimes in amazing ways. AMC Theaters, specifically AMC Entertainment, I know them. It's AMC Theaters. They had the best month. October was the best month for movie tickets since February 2020. Wow. Could we have finally turned the corner? And then again, Deere, we've already talked about, they have come to a tentative agreement with their unions and their striking employees. Let's talk about Zillow. Yes, there is that channel out there talking about 93% fall. I refuse to watch his videos anymore. I do not want to reward that individual with a penny and 10 minutes of my time. But let's just remind you what's going on at Zillow, because I've called it for a year or so. Zillow was relying on artificial intelligence. Zillow had internal teams. They had the buying team, they had the repair team, and they had the selling team. Zillow is not a flipper. They are not an individual. They are not really a real estate. They don't really build, remodel. That's not what they do, right? They're a data company. Well, Zillow got a little full of themselves and they relied on AI, and shockingly, folks, they paid too much. Yes, folks, Zillow is not good at buying. They are not good at flipping, and they are going to lose money. That does not mean things will fall 93%. That is beyond idiotic. I'm sure, I can't imagine that's what's being called, but again, I'm not watching the video. Several of you have asked me. I refuse to give that guy a penny. It's just not worth my time. But yes, this is what's happening at Zillow. Again, I was an executive at companies, and this is what happened. A room full of probably 20 or less people were auditing the books and going, oh my God, we're losing how much per house? Then they go, how much do we have in inventory? Oh my God, we're going to lose $200 million, right? We did the math on Saturday, I think. It was just a rough estimate, right? 40 grand, all these houses, 200 million. They're like, we got to stop. The next thing that happens in a corporate meeting like that, because again, these executives in the big suits with the big stock, they're not in Arizona. They're not in Southern California. They're like, we need to sell. We need to get flat. We need to get even. This is a bad business model. These people up here are like 17 layers removed from the street. They say the street reacts. So guess what, folks? Zillow is going to be selling lots of homes below what they paid. They are going to earn, they're going to lose money. But that's because the people at the top said do this, and the people at the bottom are doing that. The people at the top will not know how much money they lost for 45 to 60 days. It's just how these big companies work. It is sickening. And guess what will happen in 2 months? The guys at the top will go like, oh my God, we thought we'd lose 200 million. Now we lost 300 million. What happened? Well, you told us to sell homes. Big companies like that, iBuyers, were a broken business model to begin with. So again, if you're in a market and you see a Zillow home, I would offer less. Because again, Zillow today is a motivated seller. What is the hardest thing to find? Motivated sellers. If I saw a Zillow listing in my market, I don't know, let's say it's listed for $350. Let's say it's listed for $350. Let's say they paid $370. They listed it for $350. I might offer $300. Zillow today is like banks of 2010. Somebody at the top said do something. People at the bottom, 17 layers removed. You're going to find out exactly how motivated they are. They probably don't accept 300, but I bet they counter. I bet they counter. It's these big companies shouldn't. These iBuyers, what a joke. Anyways, again, they're not emotional, right? They're doing what they do. Richmond Fed is also watching one rental at a time. Richmond Fed is saying, you know what? It is starting to feel like an economic slowdown is happening at the same time we have rising prices. Hello? I told you 3 months ago that I think the Fed will be raising rates into the beginning of a recession. Sometimes I get really good at this stuff. Now the Richmond Fed tends to agree. One thing to call out is if you are a mortgage broker, you better get lean. You better get tiny, because if rates are going up as I expect them to, you could very likely have a drop of mortgage demand of 33 to 40%. If rates go from 3 to 4%, lots of refis, poof. Purchases will go down as well as affordability goes down. And oh, by the way, for us, inventory rises. And yes, folks, one rental at a time will work. Lastly, again, more and more articles talking about the 70. Yes, I know there's a channel out there making fun of me. I don't care. But right now, the Fed is saying there are more shortages in the U.S. economy than any time since 1973. 1973, if you don't know, it was caused by the oil embargo that lasted 4 months. I now believe we have not an oil embargo, we have a different commodity. It's not really a commodity. Well, it depends how you look at it. It's employees or hours worked. Hours worked is the commodity I'm referencing. I don't want to say people or commodities because that's just not cool. But the hours that we work is the commodity, is the constraint. And if you look around, employers, small businesses, employees are missing, lots of openings. It's going to cause wage inflation. It's going to cause automation. And this is going to be years in the making. So yes, folks, I believe the oil embargo, which was 4 months, will be outdone by the labor shortage, which hours worked is today's commodity. So that's what I got for you today. It is Monday. We should be speaking with Greg Dickerson here in about 14 minutes. Remember, Instagram, one rental at a time. Find the reel where I call out Grant Cardone. Tag him in the comments. Let's blow up Grant's, I guess, Instagram feed today. And then how did I get the number of 33 to 43? That was an article on Motley Fool. Motley Fool got the article, 33 to 40%. Motley Fool. So again, folks, have a wonderful day. Take care of yourself. Again, remember, daily financial news tomorrow, 7:30. Tag Grant Cardone. If you're interested in changing your financial future with real estate, buy the course now before the price goes up. Bye-bye.